Hey, what's up? It's Isomhoward, and it is time to play some games. I'm back with some more Pokemon Go, PvP, and actually my first PvP video for Pokemon Go, but some more Pokemon Go videos nonetheless. And we're going to be going over my Kingdom Cup. This was last month, but I'm hoping that it can help you out in your future tournaments, just watching me goof up over and over again, because that's basically what this video is going to be. Now, this was a 4-round tournament that we run. And my first matchup, well, I got a message the day before from this guy named Tyro. He's really good at PvP, and he's the only person to ever beat me in a tournament. And so he messaged me and said, okay, I have a hunch that it's going to be you and me in the first round. And look who I went up against in the first round. Tyro himself. And so we're going to get started here. Altaria versus Bastiodon. An absolutely terrible matchup for me. And so I just decided, hey, let's farm a little bit of energy, because I don't know. And then I switched into Lucario. I get a lot of damage off. I thought he was going to switch, but then I was able to get a power-up punch. And he shields it, of course, because that would have been bye-bye Bastiodon. And then he brings in his Lucario, but my counters are doing so much damage because of these power-up punches. Power-up punch, an amazing move. If you're going to regionals, you're going to want it on your Medicham. And if you're not going to regionals, you're going to Nightmare, you're going to want it on your Hitmonchan. So I'm going to wait out the clock just a bit, and I'm going to choose to go in with Flygon, which was the pick, because if I brought in Altaria, I could have finished off Lucario, but I wouldn't have been able to deal with Bastiodon, which I know he has. He does have a Lapras too. Thankfully, it's not an Ice Shard Lapras, it's Water Gun as well. But what I do here is, even though Earthquake would get off more damage, I believe, I'm trying to... Actually, he didn't have any shields, so why would I do that? And here we go, on cue, Mr. Peters right here. And he overslept. We started the tournament like 30 minutes late, and so tons of respect to him. I'll talk about that later, though. And so he brings in Bastiodon, and he won from here, because he's going to take out my Altaria, and then he's going to switch into, because I'm out of shields, and I'm surprised that Stone Edge didn't KO. Altaria, not surprisingly bulky. We already know how bulky it is. And then Flygon's able to come in. I shouldn't have used Dragon Claw here. I should have built up energy, and so that I could hit Lapras with an Earthquake. That's what I should have done. But instead, he's able to get off that Stone Edge on me, which means just a few Water Guns, and I'm out. That's it for Flygon. And I could have, if I had an Earthquake ready to go, I could have taken out that Lapras. And that would have been game 1. But that's game 1. GG's to Tyro for that. And we're going to do a nice little clappity-clap there and get 500 Stardust and increase our friendship level. We just barely made it to Ultra Friends, so we're able to practice battle now. And we actually both got regional invites, which is cool. Yeah, my party name, Tyro Please, because I know he's going to whoop me. So, Tyro, please. Just please. This is going on YouTube. Okay. Okay. So we're both going to regionals, so we're both going to be practicing all sorts of battles, because we want to be able to do the best we can, represent our community, and just be the best we can be. And so I'm over here trying to decide. I know I want Lucario up front, because that deals with his Bastiodon as well as his Lapras. Now I need to be able to take care of his own Lucario, but if he starts with Lucario, then I can tough it out in the mirror match, or I can switch out to one of these other two counters, because those are both Altaria and Flygon are both amazing defenders, and I don't really know why I'm sitting here so long thinking about this. I must have been talking to him or something. But his team... Okay, now I decide, okay, here we go, that's my team. It's final. And so I brought in Charizard and Bastiodon. And I wish I had the... Okay, so here we go. So I start off, I'm trying to farm a little bit of energy so that I can come in and just absolutely wreck with my Lucario when I switch it in. So he's able to get a much better switch in compared to last time. He's able to bring in Lucario. I charge up a Flamethrower. He's going to block it, of course, because he still has 2 shields, and he knows that Flamethrower is coming. And since Flamethrower and Stone Edge have the same amount of energy requirement, I get both of them there. I should not have shielded this Power-Up Punch. That just allows his Lucario to farm up more energy and get more Power-Up Punches, which means more damage overall. And so that was a big mistake right there. I lost a shield, and I just made a big goof. And so Charizard comes in here. I know he can tank this Power-Up Punch, not PvP Punch, goodness. And so he's able to do that like a champ, and is able to do some work on Lucario. But that Power-Up Punch damage with counter is so good that he's able to take out my Charizard. And one hit, 1 or 2, 3 hits maybe, is able to take out my Lucario to less than half health. Power-Up Punch is so incredibly good, and so that's just it. Like, Power-Up Punch is incredibly good, if that's the only thing you learn from this. And so I'm able to get off a Power-Up Punch. He has an extra shield, and so he shielded that. He didn't know how much energy I had stored up from before, and if I had enough energy, I would have gone for the Shadow Ball right there, because I know Shadow Ball is going to not be resisted, it's going to do a lot more, but I was losing health so quickly from this Dragon Breath Altaria that I couldn't get to it in time. Now, if I didn't waste my shield on Bastiodon at the beginning, and there was one other mistake, gosh, I forgot. But if I didn't make those crucial mistakes, then I wouldn't have, I would have had a better chance there. So next we're going to go up against Cutter, and he had a lot of Pokemon weak to fire. And he was telling me, okay, I know a lot of my Pokemon are weak to Lucario. I put this team together with short notice. I wasn't really focused on this tournament as much as I have in the past, because he's an amazing battler. And he just doesn't have the right team comp here for this. Flygon, great choice. But the problem is that I believe this is Dragon Tail Flygon, and again, shout out to Mr. Peters. He sunk so much dust into this tournament and then slept in, and the respect to him goes for being able to, he still showed up, and we did some battles with him afterwards, and he was chill about it. Like, I'm sure he was upset, but like, he didn't show it, and he's just awesome, so shout outs to him. And so I decided to take this Dragon Claw, thinking it's not going to do a lot of damage, but I forget how frail Charizard is. I probably could have taken out the Flygon there, but I'm not 100% sure. And it's good that I was able to get a little bit more fire damage, fire spin damage on that Mawile. And so I'm deciding, should I go in with Lucario or Melmetal? And I decide Melmetal because I'm going to get... I actually don't know. Actually, Lucario would have been better because Power-Up Punch would have been neutral. I believe Shadow Ball would have been neutral, and Counter would have been neutral. But instead, I decided, and I had an extra shield, so I was fine shielding my Lucario. It would have taken neutral damage from Play Rough, but that's still a dangerous attack. and Rock Slide is resisted. So I don't know why I used Melmetal. Probably in this matchup, I brought Melmetal to the tournament because I was afraid of Lapras. I didn't want to bring my own Lapras because even though I'm wearing it on my shirt, I just realized the irony in that. But I brought it in the Tempest Cup. It was great in the Tempest Cup. And I don't know, for some reason I just didn't think about bringing it, or I didn't consider it enough. So I decided to swap out Melmetal for Flygon. And what Flygon is going to do for me, and I decided to put Lucario up front. No, Flygon up front. And what Flygon is going to do for me is take out Mawile here. And it's going to take that out a little bit better. I believe he has Steelix as well. Ninetales, bad matchup for me. And I also decided to close the app right there. Brilliant move on my part. So I wasn't able to switch out in time there as quickly as I would have liked. That Powder Snow was able to take out about 1/3 to 1/2 of my Flygon's health. So I decided, let's tank this Ice Beam. I was thinking it would be Dazzling Gleam, or I don't know what I was thinking it was going to be. But this is a mistake I made. Blast Burn. I shouldn't have used Blast Burn. I should have known, hey, he's got 2 shields left. Use Dragon Claw. Bait that shield, and then use Dragon Claw again. Because if you charge up to a Blast Burn, your opponent has no idea whether you're going to bring a Blast Burn or a Dragon Claw. Blast Burn, Dragon Claw, nobody knows except you. And so I'm able to get off this Shadow Ball against this Mawile. Knowing that he has a shield, I should have charged up to Shadow Ball and then hit with the Power-Up Punch. Both are going to be neutral in this case, and so even if I wasn't baiting a shield, I would have got more counter damage into, and I would have been able to take out this Steelix much faster. But he is out of shields now, and so I'm able to finish it off with a Power-Up Punch and a few counters. So I would have been able to do better in that match, but still, GG's to Cutter there. So next is Oxtail Rex, and I've never battled him before this, but I know I've tied with him for second before in tournaments twice, and he's just done really well. So I decide, for some bright reason, hey, let's switch out into my Mudshot Flygon, because that's brilliant. What I think I was doing was trying to save my Altaria for his Lucario, but I could have easily used Flygon to counter Lucario as well. And so he brings out his own Flygon, which I don't know how I feel about that switch. I probably would have just kept Altaria in because Dragon Breath was doing so much, but he has Dragon Tail on Flygon, so he's able to get enough hits on my Flygon to take it out. And so far it's been not a mirror matchup, but kind of a mirror matchup because we both have this identical party so far. He does have one more shield, but I'm able to get off this Sky Attack. Let's see if he shields this, and he does not. And so he's saving his shield for something later on in the match. And so I build up Sky Attack, and it's Steelix. So I don't know why I used Dragon Pulse. Steel resists Dragon. Well, I guess I do know why, because I was at low health, and that was going to be the most damage I could get off. But if he were to block it, it would have been the exact same as if I just did. And this is going to be an Earthquake here. Bye-bye to my Lucario there. So if I didn't switch out into Flygon, then it would, against his Altaria, when I did, I would have been able to have saved that shield. And so, I'm deciding what I want my next party member to be. And while I'm doing that, yeah. So the biggest takeaway I got from this tournament and leading up to this tournament is that are these mind games you can play with your opponent. Okay, we're gonna start this next match. I believe it airs out. No, this match is good, and then the next one airs out, I think. Sorry, I'm such a mess. It's like 10:38 p.m. right now. And so he decides to switch out, which is a good move. I decide to switch out as well, because if you're the first to switch out, your opponent also gets to switch out because they still have their free switch out ready to go. And so I get off this power-up punch. Great move. He decides to shield. And so that just gives me more time to build up my... Well, he used a shield because he had Earthquake almost ready to go. But that gives me more time to build up those power-up punches. I decide to farm energy off of it so I can get closer to a Shadow Ball in case he has an Altaria. But for some reason, I use power-up punch here without seeing what he switched into. I mean, power-up punch was the right play here, but I should have waited to see if it was an Altaria. I wanted to do a Shadow Ball. If it was... I can't really think of any other reason why I would want to do it. So, right here, against Altaria, I would have wanted Shadow Ball. But since I wasn't able to power that up before fainting, I use Power-Up Punch. And so I just switch into Bastiodon here and am able to get a nice, finish off the rest of this battle. And I didn't really have to shield this. I guess it didn't really matter, and I don't have to use a Stone Edge here. I just finish off with fast attacks, and so that is now 1-1 against Oxtail. And so I'm going to cut to the part where I actually have footage of that is not had us having to restart because we had some connection issues. And so I decided to get a little bit of energy off. I don't like how much damage it's doing to me with Dragon Breath, but I decide to stay in so that I can burn shields with Dragon Claw with Charizard, because Charizard can charge so quickly, and I don't really have a good option for Altaria unless you're counting my 2 Dragon Claw Pokemon that I brought in. I should have brought in an Altaria. Dazzling Gleam is going to tickle my Flygon to death. Since it's a fairy type move, it's not going to like brutally murder it to death, it's going to tickle it to death, because fairies are still evil, but they're not. They have class, okay? So I decide, hey, let's wait out the clock so we can get my switch timer back up. And then I'm going to bring in Lucario? That time I waited way too long, and I should have brought in Charizard, but now he's going to be able to get off another Dazzling Gleam here, and I'm forced to shield. I am not sure if I could have taken Altaria out with Charizard before it could get to that Dazzling Gleam, but it would not have done as much damage, and so I wouldn't have had to shield for sure. And so Mamoswine just absolutely gets destroyed by these power-up punches, and he's now out of shields, and the last Pokemon is Steelix, and so Lucario sweeps the rest of the team. And so the takeaway from this is find the top meta Pokemon for the cup, if there is one, if it's applicable. Find the top meta Pokemon, and that can be singular or plural, and bring counters to it. Bring plenty of counters to it. If you look and see your team is week 2, because I met several people during this tournament that, and here's the next battle where we destroy this Kingdra, because I don't know why I used the Sky Attack there. I really didn't need to. I guess I was trying to burn a shield because I charged, but I didn't even charge up to Dragon Pulse. I don't know, that was an iffy play from me against Lurulio here. But then Lapras comes in. Thankfully, another Water Gun Lapras. And so I decide to go with Dragon Pulse. But he's going to shield it, I think. No, he doesn't shield it, so that was... But in case he shielded it, I should have gotten off more Sky Attacks, since I'm not 100% sure on the calcs there, but they're both stab and they're both great moves. I took a gamble by using Sky Attack before that he actually showed his next Pokemon, and as soon as Lucario comes in, I decide to chip as much energy off as much as possible. Now the correct play to make here would just be Flygon. Shoutouts to MNJTV, he's streaming at the time of this tournament. So I send in Flygon, he's going to hit me with the power-up punch here, but I decide to shield just because I want to take it out, and I don't want to have a 50 to 75% powered-up Lucario that's hit 2 or 3 power-up punches going up against my Lucario, because that's going to hurt. And so I decide... I don't know why I decided not to use that Dragon Claw. It worked out fine in the end, but if I would have used that Dragon Claw, it would have done... it would have made sure that my Lucario was more likely to KO here. And so we're able to pick up that dub and move on to the next round. And I'm gonna sit there and just bounce up and down. Alright. Hit rematch past me, please. But this whole tournament was lots of fun. And so, to people in my community that are watching this, if you're watching this far, you get a round of applause. I'm not going to clap because that might ruin the voiceover. I don't know. And so, good job for you, and I really hope you can make it to next month's Nightmare Cup. And so, here we are, lots of spawns here at the mall that we were holding the tournament in. And so, I decide to switch up my team just a bit. Or I'm deciding if I switch up my team. And if you're watching this from my community, know that I'm not, like, I'd love to see more participation in tournaments. Like, just come out. I don't care if you just absolutely stomp me, but actually I kind of do. Please don't. But actually I'm fine with it. So I pull out his team here. I don't know. I have mixed feelings. I'm still trying to decide whether or not you can stomp me in a tournament, and if I'm inviting you, but I don't know. I'm just here to have fun for the most part. Like, 99% of it is for fun, and like, there's a secret 1% side of me that's like, alright, I need to win at all costs, like, going for your throat. But like, 99% of it, like, it suppresses the other 1%. It's, so I'm able to switch out, which was an unfavorable matchup, and turn it into an amazing matchup here. Now what Lurulio should have done was he should have switched much sooner, and so he would have had so much more health on that Bastiodon, but instead pulls out that Steelix, and so has to shield another one. So I boosted up my attack 50%. Each of my counters is doing so much more damage here. I decide to get off another power punch. I probably could have held out, but now my counters are going to do so much damage against his Lucario here. So we KO at the same time. And so he decides to send in Bastiodon, so I go with Flygon. And he's got either a Stone Edge or a Flamethrower or a Flash Cannon. Most likely one of the first two, but it's a Flamethrower. And so I'm just going to bank some energy here. Or no, I'm going to go for the Earthquake. No, I just finished off fast attacks. I didn't even need to shield there. I could have taken it out, but that is going to be the end of the tournament. We got 4 rounds played here, and it was a really fun tournament. It was one of my favorites so far, and I tied for 3rd. I'll post the rankings in the description, and so you can go check out everyone's teams and all that. And sorry about that. That was my bad. That was my mic deciding to be weird, I guess. I don't know. So congrats to Koopa. Koopa, round of applause for Koopa. He's amazing. He's my #1 battle partner. I mean, as in we battle the most together. And the other time we fought in a tournament before, it was so stinking close. It would have made trending on YouTube if I put it in a video. It was so incredibly close. It could have gone either way. And yeah, and like I said, huge congrats to him. Huge thank you to all my opponents and everybody who showed up. And thank you to you as well for watching this video. And like, comment, subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Bye!